Hi, I'm Randy Robison. Welcome to Life Today TV, special digital edition with honey. And this is Nature Nate's honey. I've got Nature Nate with me. Welcome.
Great to be here.
And we're going to talk about honey, but we're going to talk about a lot more than honey. If you've heard of I Am Second, you are looking at the former president, one of the founders of I Am Second. So thank you for that, because it felt fresh. I mean, it was people giving their testimonies, right?
Right.
But there was, it had a cool, fresh feel about it, and it had a lot of impact.
Yeah, it was a God thing from the very beginning. Norm Miller, who was one of the guys he's the chairman of Interstate Battery, so Norman called me and said, tell me this story. He'd been sitting out in his backyard. It was his 70th birthday. He was kind of praying, doing his quiet time, asking the Lord, what do you want? I've got, however many years left. What do you want me to do? And he had this thought that the Lord was saying, have you ever gone for broke in your own Jerusalem? And he had funded the Jesus Film Project in Russia and places like that. And as he's sharing this with me, he goes, Nathan, if I was going to try to sell more batteries, I'd do a media campaign, and maybe I'd use a celebrity. And he said to me, we just need to make Jesus as famous as Tony Romo. And as soon as he said that, man, the Lord just dropped this billboard in my head. And I said, all right, Norm, imagine you driving down the tollway. And you see a billboard, and it's got Dirk Nowitzki on it. Dirk's number one, right? He's the man.
Right.
I said, but this billboard says, I am second, and it drives you to the website, iamsecond.com. We share Dirk's testimony on a video, and then we hook you up into a local church. And he said, great, let's get together and talk about that.
Seriously?
So I hung the phone up, and Adam Leidig, who was our creative director at E3, was sitting on the other end of my desk. He goes, dude, that's huge. So he literally walked out of the room, came back with a white piece of paper, black magic marker, and wrote, I am second, and that was the logo.
Wow.
And so we kind of mocked up this whole advertising campaign and went and showed it to Norm, and Norm looked at it and said, great, go mock up an ad campaign. We were like, well, that's what we thought we did. So we went and did some more stuff, came back about a week later, and he said, all right, I'm in. I'll give you $3 million.
Holy cow.
And that was in March of 2008. So we started filming. Stephen Baldwin was the first person. Then we did Brian Head Welch from Korn.
Yep.
And when we did Welch, man, that was like a game changer. It was like, it was just he was just such a just visually so dramatic.
Yeah. He's a good guy too. Really nice
he's
guy.
a great guy.
Yeah.
And so that whole campaign from the very beginning was just so God inspired. And the impact that we saw in a really short period of time when we launched it, December 2nd, 2008, just goes to show it was his idea, not ours.
Nice. How do you go from that, marketing and media and all that, to honey?
Yeah, so I bought the honey company in September 11, 1997, right before I went into full-time Christian ministry vocationally. Yeah. And so I always had the honey company on the side. And so, in 2010, I just wasn't where I needed to be. I was believing my own press and prideful, and so it was just time for a transition in my life. And so left I Am Second and started doing the honey company full time. And man, I got to tell you, I was really kind of struggling doing the honey company. I was like, Lord, where's my eternal value? I mean, we sat around meetings before and we're praying about how you reach the world for Christ, and and all these things, but selling honey. And it was like driving, NASCAR, and then you're driving your Toyota home.
Yeah, right.
And so one of the things I got involved with was a group called C12, which is for Christian business owners and CEOs. And in my C12 group is Paul Vineyard from Babes, and some other just wonderful guys. But it really began to formulate my perspective of realizing that the Lord sent me through 12 years of ministry to prepare me for the next phase of my life in business. Mm-hmm. Because when I came into it, I spent 12 years in the nonprofit space. And so when I came into Nature Nate's, it wasn't this capitalistic drive of just wanting to make money. Mm-hmm. I wanted to make an impact for eternity. The same motivation that brought me into ministry in the very beginning was the same motivation that I still had doing business. And I came to the realization that in ministry, we go out to donors, raise money, do programs to make an impact. Yep. And I realized, I don't have to raise money. We can make money, steward it, go do programs, and make an impact. And so that's the thing that we really, in 2011, we were very small at the time. We had 4 employees. We homeschooled, and so my wife told us we had to get out of the house, so we went and rented an apartment. And so we're in this little 2-bedroom apartment, and we're sitting around the table, we're talking, and I wouldn't say it was a burning bush epiphany, but the Lord just really impressed upon my heart just a financial goal as a company. And so in 2011, we were doing about $1.5 million in sales, so total sales. Okay. And so I got up and I walked up to the whiteboard and I said, all right, here's our goal. And I wrote $5 million. So our goal is to give away $5 million a year. And everybody looked at me like,
The numbers don't
are you crazy?
work there. Yeah.
And so what we do now is we give away 2% of sales. And so our goal, if you walk around our organization, you walk around Nature Nate's and talk to people and you say, hey, what's the goal? Without a beat, people go, oh, to give away $5 million a year. So we're going to be at $200 million in revenue. And so our goal is to be, by the end of 2020, be at $200 million in revenue and just really steward, the financial resources. But stewardship just isn't with just money. It's also with people.
Absolutely.
And so
More
we
importantly.
steward our people resources. One of my prayers, honestly, I pray, God, give me thousands of employees, not because I want all these employees. It's because it's a great opportunity to make a difference in the lives of people that work for you.
Yeah, and not just a hit and run difference like a
No,
lot of
day
preachers
in,
do.
day out.
It's the day, yeah, exactly.
Because you're there with people through financial troubles, through marriage troubles. I mean, we had one of the girls that worked for us came in one day with a big old black eye, and it came from home, and so to walk with her through that, and now she's in a Bible study and studying God's Word, and to see people come in and not have a faith, and then to come to Christ and start to grow in their faith is awesome.
That's very cool. One thing, and yeah, I'm in full-time ministry. I'm a little bit jealous of the guys that are in full-time business and ministering through the business, because I recognize the impact of that. And unfortunately, I think a lot of people think, well, if I really want to serve God, I got to get out of business and into ministry. And I think that's just a lie. I think it's almost a bad trend. I tell people, if God's got you in business, ask him how you're going to minister there, because he's got you there for a reason. So you're living this, though.
Yeah, and I think, honestly, the next wave of the missionary movement is going to come in the business world. You see businesses' missions becoming a wave with ministries. They're trying to look at ways as not being so donor dependent, and so they're creating business platforms, and one, to give them access into closed access countries, to give them a reason to be in a country, and people aren't like, why are you here? You don't have a job.
You're just proselytizing, right?
And so, when Paul wanted to go to Rome, and because the gospel had never gone to Rome, and when he shows up in Rome, the brethren meet him in Rome. Well, the brethren were there because the gospel was brought to Rome through the business sector. And so I think that the business sector today, has the exact same opportunity, and we're seeing it now. Like with C12, there's about 1,800 Christian CEOs and business owners across the country that are in C12. And guys that are passionate about using their business platform to reach other people for Christ and steward those financial resources, and to really live out their faith in an authentic and transparent way. Because you know what? I screw stuff up all the time. But I've gone to our staff before and just said, I'm sorry. I just didn't handle that right. Will you forgive me? And so all of a sudden, when people don't have a relationship with Christ, they don't think I'm trying to bolster myself up by, look at me, I never make mistakes. It's just living it out.
So God blessing your business?
We are now the #1 branded honey company in America. So in 2011, from 4 employees to this year, we've got about 135 employees. We sell through all the major retailers: Costco, Sam's, Walmart, Kroger, Safeway, all across the country.
Crazy.
And we've got a whole new slew of products that we're bringing to market as well, kind of honey-based products.
Some tasty stuff
Some
we
tasty
talked about
stuff.
earlier.
Oh, yeah. Look for our nut butters at Kroger and jams this January. So
that's awesome.
Great things, great times.
So a business guy's watching going, man, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And maybe they're just getting started. Maybe they've been in business for 50 years. C12, their website?
Yeah, and I would just tell you, man, go into the office as though you're walking into the mission field, and look at it through that lens of those people that you touch and see every single day. They'll spend more time with you in the office than they might spend with their family at home. And so just recognize the opportunity and the responsibility that you have as the leader of an organization. And you only have to be the owner. You could work at a company, and the person who's walking and working next to you in the cubicle needs Jesus as much as that missionary that you're funding overseas. And the only times you might ever hear about it is from you.
Dude, you are so right, and I appreciate you saying that. Is there a website for your honey?
Yeah, naturenates.com.
Yeah.
And then you can, honestly just go to your local retailer, look for the bright neon orange honey label. You can't miss it,
Yeah. I mean, just buy it. I mean, because when you do it, you're funding
the kingdom.
The kingdom. Yeah. And there's nothing better than that. Dude, I appreciate you. I appreciate you spending a few minutes with me, inspiring other businessmen out there. And if you want to hear more about kind of what goes on with the honey and the ministry and all that kind of stuff. You can see more from Nate on Life Today. That show is available right now at lifetoday.org. Thank you for watching and sharing this interview. Be sure to check out the social media for Life Today Television, and you can connect with me on Facebook and Twitter. And if you haven't already subscribed or followed this channel, do it now so you can see more of our great guests.